Hello, everyone. I'm Secret Charla. This is Secret Star Soul Healing. If you are new to my channel, welcome on in. If you have been to my channel before, welcome back. So I came on because I wanted to talk about the full moon in Aquarius that's coming up. And first, I asked Spirit to give me some advice on what are some topics we can be considering or thinking about during this time. And the messages I was getting was around having love and compassion for your fellow humans, which makes sense. An Aquarius trait. Actually, the kind of humanitarian types tend to be Aquarius or really air signs in general. And then some lyrics popped into my mind, and that's often how spirit communicates with me or sends me messages. And it was, come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. I think that's the correct lyrics. I looked up the name of the song, which I think is Get Together, and it's by the Youngbloods. I think it was written in around 1962, or it came out in 1967. It came out around that time. And that really is the perfect song for this time. So really it got me to thinking, okay, definitely good to love our fellow humans and to feel compassion for our fellow humans. It can be hard sometimes because there's some divisions definitely in the country, within the community, within the whole country. And it can feel difficult sometimes to feel love and compassion for people whose points of views are so different from ours, especially if we feel like we're being attacked. So one way that you could maybe send love and compassion to someone who you feels maybe attacking you, attacking your points of view. I don't mean physically attacking. I mean more attacking your beliefs, is to think about, well, if you see a dog in the street who's been abused, is starving, you're not surprised if they snap at you or try to steal your food, right? They've had difficulty in their life and they lash out, right? And I think in that case, it's not too hard for us to feel love and compassion for that situation. So I think if we can kind of think about that, if we feel like a point of view is coming towards us that feels more like an attack, if we can just send love and compassion and just think to ourselves, the way people treat you is often more about how they have been treated themselves and how they feel inside of themselves in terms of their sense of self-worth. And so if we can have compassion for them, then let it go. Because we don't want to be carrying around anger and hate for others when they have a different point of view, or if they don't really express their point of view in a way that's very nice. I would say just move on with your day and your life and try to just imagine throwing love and compassion at them. And like I said, just move on with your life. So in any case, let's go ahead and get started. So this time I want to try to focus on like the air signs, water signs, earth signs, fire signs, and give each grouping a message. So first I'm going to purify the space. Okay, and now I'm going to ask that Spirit please help deliver messages around what we can be thinking about during the full moon in Aquarius. And if there's any other additional messages, please bring those on in for us. All right. Okay, so what I wanted to do for each grouping of signs, star signs, is give every grouping their own oracle card. So I'm going to use the Mystical Forest. So I'm going to start with the air signs, which tend to be the innovators, collaborators, humanitarians, and that's going to be the Aquarius, Gemini, Libras. Now, even if none of those are your star sign, if you know anything about your chart and there's a lot of air in your chart, like me, I've got like several Libra placements in my chart. This might still be a good message for you, so perk up your ears. All right, so I'm going to start with an oracle card to open the reading for the air signs. Okay. Fulfillment. Okay, so it says you don't need anyone's approval to pursue and fulfill your purpose. Embrace your unique journey and trust that it's leading you where you need to go. So that's a nice message. All right, let's put this over here. Okay, and so I'm going to start with the Star Tarot. I'm going to use this deck for the air signs. Let's see if we can get any additional messages. Oh, all right, 3 cards decided to pop out, so let's just use those cards. Okay, so the first card that came out is the King of Swords, which makes perfect sense. Swords really are related to the air signs in the tarot deck. And so King of Swords can mean about approaching your life logically. Kings are mean action. So it doesn't necessarily mean, it doesn't have to be male or female in particular. It's just the energy. And so these are cards of action and taking action in a logical manner. So again, thinking back to this message, it's logical to think that somebody who's attacking your beliefs, attacking your point of view, probably has had some not pleasant things happen to them in their life. And again, it does not excuse their behavior, but if you can just use logic and say, okay, likely these folks, I'm not going to be able to engage with them. They're not going to listen. They're coming from a place of pain, possibly. So I'm just going to think of them with love and compassion and move on with my life. All right. The next card that popped out is the King of Pentacles. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so the King of Pentacles, so another king. So kings tend to be, powerful. And again, action. So pentacles are really around earthly realms, whereas, swords have to do with thoughts, and intellect. Pentacles have to do more with finances or just other earthly realm things like taking care of finances, taking care of your home, taking care of the people you care about in your life, your family. Those are things that are precious. We want to hang on to those things. Could be about pets, making sure you're taking your dog out on enough walks. Um, so this really to me is saying, again, because air signs tend to be the humanitarian types, like just reminding you to make sure you're taking care of the important things in your earthly realm, and make sure that you are, going forth with logic, but also that you are not staying too up in the air in your thoughts. You're coming down here and you're taking care of the important elements of your life that have to do with the earthly realm, your home, your family, your job, your finances. So just making sure, because that's can be a tendency of the air signs sometimes, is to be a little too much in the mind. And so this is saying, well, don't forget about the earthly realm important things as well. So that's what that says to me. And then the next card is the Ace of Wands. Now, aces have to do with new beginnings, and wands in particular tend to be about new projects or new ventures that have to do with something you feel passionately about. And so the full moon this just might be a good time for you to be thinking, okay, what do I feel passionately about? And how do I put that into place? So you've got the logic king over here, as well. So I'm going to think through like this new start or how I want to start my passion project. In the meantime, though, I'm not going to forget my responsibilities of taking care of the things important to me in my earthly realm. But at the same time, it's important to feed your soul with creative pursuits or just whatever interests you, whatever makes you feel passionate. Don't forget to allow that into your life. Don't get so caught up in work and taking care of family and things in the earthly realm that you don't also give yourself a chance to work on things that you feel passionately about. All right. Okay, so let's move on to the water signs. So water signs tend to be more on the emotional side, more intuitive side. And that's going to be Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And so again, like I said before, if you have a lot of water placements in your chart, even if your sign, your sun sign is not a water sign, but you have a lot of water signs in your astrological chart, this still might be a good message for you. So again, I'm going to pull a Mystic Forest card, Oracle card for the water signs. And I get energetic pull. A true master knows that you create through your actions. Do not hesitate when you feel the energy pulling you. Follow it fearlessly and move worlds. So this is interesting. When you feel the energy pulling you. So this could be about, this reminds me a little bit of the project I was just talking about for the air signs. So if you're feeling pulled to exploring a certain area of your life, whether that's some kind of creative pursuit, or maybe you want to move into a new job, or you're not feeling it anymore where you live, and you're just feeling pulled in another direction, I would say just explore that. It could be a reason that you're being pulled. It could be your intuition. It could be something on your life path. It's the next step. So don't disregard when you have those feelings. Explore those feelings and do some research on whatever area you seem to be pulled to in whatever situation. All right. So for the water signs, I'm going to use the Ethereal Bloom Tarot. All right, the first card that I get is Eight of Wands. So the Eight of Wands usually means some kind of communication is coming in towards you. This could be an email. This could be something, a letter in the mail. So we'll see what other cards we get, but the Eight of Wands usually means some kind of communication is coming in that you need to pay attention to, or this may have already happened. Maybe this could be like, don't forget to check your email. As a teacher, I send a lot of emails, and it surprises me how many people really never check their email. So this could be a message to you to check your email. Could be something important in there that you should be checking up on. So could be getting an important letter. So make sure you're not just stacking all your mail, on a table in the corner and not looking it over. So this could be a warning about that. All right, let's see what else we get for water signs. Okay, next one is justice. So justice has to do with a couple things. The scales are in justice. So justice could mean that you need to make sure you're finding balance in your life. So this checking in with a full moon, this could be a good time to make sure that you're finding balance. But justice can also be about what you put out into the world is what you get back, right? So this goes along with the discussion we had earlier about feeling love, trying to feel love and compassion for others. So if somebody is making you feel attacked, maybe it's on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever the source is, and you sort of attack back because that makes you feel a certain satisfaction, it's not actually helpful, right? It just fuels your own anger towards the other person, and they're gonna come back at you. And so this back and forth, it's not really going to do any good for anyone. If they're attacking you, they're not going to listen to you, right? It's unlikely. If somebody really wants to understand your point of view, they're going to approach it in a nicer way, like, hey, could you explain? I really don't understand where you're coming from, right? They're not going to call you names or whatever. So I would just say again, this is like what you put out there is what you get back. So if you're putting out love, that's more likely what you're going to get back. So just leave the haters behind, move on with your life, try to imagine throwing love and compassion at them because probably they don't have a very happy life if they go around attacking people. But also, and so also just have that balance in your life. Let go of that kind of negative, unpleasant energy in whatever form it comes at you. Walk away. Okay. And one last card for the water signs. Spirit, what is one more card for what water signs can be thinking about during the Aquarius full moon? Okay, Ace of Cups, very fitting. Cups in tarot are water sign type energy. So Ace of Cups, again, just like the Ace of Wands that we had for the air signs, can be about something new coming in. It could be a new venture that you feel strongly about, you feel emotional about. It could be cautioning you to be careful not to be overly emotional about something, like learn to how to control your emotions. So again, it's kind of reminding me of this, what we were just talking about, the justice card. Like you feel like it's unjust that you're being attacked by this person. Again, I mean more like verbal attacks, not physical attacks. And so, your emotions overflow and you're going to attack them back and, you're going to make them listen to you. And it's like, it's not a good way to be in balance. It's not going to do any good. Emotions overflowing is just going to make you feel more upset. So I would say, just remind you to walk away from that. This could also be a card of something new coming in that you feel strongly about emotionally, like a new pet or maybe a baby in the family, or just something, again, new in your life that you're feeling emotional about, which could also be some kind of new project or something close to your heart that you have been thinking about. So now might be the time to get started on that. Something you've been thinking about doing that you feel strongly about. Okay, next we're going to move on to the earth signs. So these tend to be the more practical signs, grounded, stable. That's how they generally like to organize their lives if they can. So that's going to be like Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And so I'm going to pull an oracle card for them. What do the earth signs need to know during the full moon in Aquarius? What can they be thinking about? All right, the spirit of love. Okay, perfect. Okay. All right, so it says, don't search for true love, for it will find you. If you just hold on to who you are, the world already loves your essence, so don't change it for anyone. So that's an interesting message in itself, but also it's making me think back to, again, trying to have love for your fellow humans, even if you don't agree with them or you feel attacked by them. Just walk away, send them love and compassion. But also the message that's on the card as well is a beautiful message. So I'd say take that to heart. Let me go ahead and put that over here. Yes, what a beautiful message. Okay. All right, so for the earth signs, I'm going to use Tarot of the Divine, is what this is called. I don't know if that's focusing. Let's see what earth signs need to know about this full moon in Aquarius. What's something you can be thinking about? Okay, the first card I got was Eight of Coins. So the Eight of Coins is about working on something. So the Eight of Coins is sometimes called like the apprentice card, like somebody who is learning a new skill. And so I would say, which would make sense to the earth signs, the message being like you work hard and you tend to, reap what you sow, right? You get recognition when you work hard, put everything into it, try to gain a new skill, try to get better at whatever it is that you do for work, but also what you love to do potentially. And this makes a lot of sense that for an earth sign card, again, and pentacles actually are representative of the earth, so it makes sense that the earth sign is getting the pentacles. But yeah, it's just um, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm like reintroducing, re-upping, reinforcing. Got it. Reinforcing. It's reinforcing the idea that you work hard and you reap the benefits of that, right? So I think this is something that Earth signs can really relate to. Like, well, yeah, obviously. Okay, that's a good thing to remember. Okay, let's see what else we can get for the Earth signs. So yeah, this full moon in Aquarius could be a good time for you to go back to something you've been working on. Maybe you were in the process of developing a skill and you just got kind of sidetracked. So now might be the time to get back to that. It could be just a good reminder for that. All right, the next card that I get is Nine of Cups. So Nine of Cups is sometimes called the wish fulfillment card. So again, since we just got the Eight of Pentacles, it's making me think it's kind of furthering that message of like if you work hard and you get better at what you do, especially if it's something that brings in income, whether that is your main job or a side gig, it's going to lead you to having everything that you need to feel fulfilled. And actually, I want to stop on that message for a minute because sometimes our jobs aren't fulfilling. And we don't all have the option of, quitting our job and finding something that is fulfilling because whatever that is might not pay well and maybe you have a family to take care of. So it's important though to find something that fills you with that sense of satisfaction. And that could end up being a hobby or a side gig that brings you that joy, that brings you that feeling of fulfillment. And so this is a reminder that yes, maybe you're working hard on something that might be related to work or finances. It might not be the thing that's bringing you satisfaction and making you feel fulfilled, right? If you can have both, that's amazing. If it's possible for you to have a job and a skill and make money at it and it fulfills you, that's perfect. But if you aren't in a position, just try to find something else you can do that feeds your soul and gives you that sense of fulfillment. All right, one more card for the earth signs. And again, reminder, if you have, even if your star sign is not an earth, part of the earth element group, you might have a lot of placements in the rest of your chart that are earth signs. Okay, King of Wands. So another king, such a pretty card. So the King of Wands, again, this is about taking action towards something that you're passionate about. And if it's your job where you make money, awesome, but it might not be. And so again, this is really interesting that I'm getting these different elements. I got the cups, emotional fulfillment. I've got the pentacles, which made sense. Earth, we're working on something. We're working on having a stable situation. We're developing our skills. But then it's like, don't forget to do something that you feel passionate about. And again, if it can't be your job, find something else that you can put out into the world. The king of the King of Wands is confident and goes forth with passion. And this is also the entrepreneurial card. So maybe there's a side gig you've been thinking about getting started that it's going to be extra work, but it's something that makes you happy. So this moon in Aquarius could be a good time to start that, especially if it relates some way uh, to people and, to community, something like that. Since it's the full moon in Aquarius, that makes sense. But regardless, it's a good time to nurture that idea and maybe put it into action. Or if you're already putting it in action, this could just be like a good on you. Keep working on your skills. This is how you're going to be emotionally fulfilled. Keep going, King. And again, remember, kings don't have to be, male in particular. It's just the energy. Okay, so now it's time to do the final grouping, elemental grouping. That's going to be the fire signs that tend to be the creatives. Again, they go forth with confidence and passion, like the King of Wands. Wands are related to the fire signs. And so that's going to be Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So let me get you an oracle card from the Mystic Forest Oracle, just to give you a message. The message could relate to the whole humanitarian idea, love your fellow humans, but could be just your own personal message, like some of these other cards have been. Let's see what's a message. All right, pursue happiness. That's a really nice message. That's been coming up a lot. Okay, so it says never apologize for what brings you joy. Okay, only you understand where you truly belong and where you can find your safe space. Follow your bliss. Oh, follow your bliss. Again, that reminds me of Joseph Campbell. So yeah, that's a beautiful message for the fire signs. Follow your bliss. There's actually even fire in this picture. And again, only you understand. So this really makes me think there could be something you feel passionate about and other people just don't get it, and they don't need to get it. Do what makes you happy. Again, it might have to be a side gig if your main job is you have to take care of your family or whatnot, but find a way to pursue what makes you feel passionate. It's going to feed your soul and make you happy. Yes, it's important to also be responsible, but we need to feed our souls too to be happy. So I love that. I love that it's fire and it's for the fire signs. Okay. So for you folks, I'm going to use the Essential Tarot. Essential Tarot. So I'll give you your own deck. These cards are interesting because they draw from different kinds of mythology or historical figures. The last cards did as well. The last cards came more from folklore, I would say, and these come more from, some of them are historical figures, but some of them are also myths and legends from different lands. So, all right, so what do the fire signs need to know about the moon in Aquarius, what they can be thinking about? All right, well, the first card that I got, Major Arcana, is the Temperance card. And the Temperance card is about finding balance. So this makes a lot of sense. Finding balance in, it's important to be passionate and creative, right? But you also have to keep your feet, one foot on the ground, right? So the Temperance angel has one foot in the water. So kind of in the spiritual, and one foot solidly on the ground. So finding balance between, being responsible and making sure you're taking care of everything in the world that needs to be taken care of, but then also giving yourself a chance to be creative and to pursue those passions. So find a balance between those two. So that's a good reminder of that. All right. Okay, and then let's see what else we get for our fire signs. Go back a little bit. Okay. All right, the next one is the sun. Boy, fire signs. You're getting different symbols of fire, but also this is a great card. So the sun card is about being joyful and really deciding like you're going to pursue that. And it sounds like you maybe already are, like, yes, you're creative, the fire, and then also finding the balance, but yeah, not forgetting to be joyful. This is really funny too, because so right now the sun sign is Leo, which is a fire sign, right? And so basically one of the energies right now is about being authentic, being a leader, putting yourself out there, right? So maybe whatever your creative project is something that you've been thinking about, or you've been doing, could be about putting yourself out there. So now would be a good time for that. Like maybe it's starting a YouTube channel, or maybe it's displaying your art in the local coffee shop, or maybe it's you're finally going to submit your writing somewhere, or maybe you're finally going to play the song you wrote for a friend, or you're going to play it in a bar or in a cafe. So this really is about going forth with confidence, with joy. And again, sun is in Leo right now. So this is a really good card, a happiness card. So good on you that you got that card. I don't know what's happening with the lighting here, but let's just do that, I guess. Okay. All right. One more card for the fire signs. Of course, you know, the sun, fire. So, all right. Two major arcanas, fire signs. So what else have we got for you? Another major arcana. Goodness. Okay. This one is the moon. And so the moon can be about something hidden coming to the surface, coming to light. So this could be about something that you've been thinking about that you're finally going to reveal. So it also kind of made me think of that, like, you know, with the sun card, which you're finally going to put yourself out there, right? The moon, maybe you've been kind of holding back. You've been kind of working on something on the DL. You weren't ready yet to share it with the world. The moon can also be about tapping into your intuition. So just remembering to listen to your intuition. You might feel inside when the time is right. So listen to that. I know it's easy to get wrapped up in fear. What are people going to think of my paintings? What are people going to think of my writing or my song or whatever it is you might be working on? So do listen to your intuition when it says now's the time. Don't ignore that, because it sounds like for some of you, now is the time. Listen to your intuition and reveal to the world what you've been working on. Reveal yourself and your creative pursuits. Okay, I'm going to do one last card for everyone, an oracle card. One final message for everyone. It's got a moon on the back, so I just thought that was fitting. So this is the inner child oracle. So one final message from Spirit to all of the signs, to everybody out there. What is one final message you can give us, Spirit? One final message. What can we be thinking about during the Aquarius full moon? All right, this says run wild. Let your inner wild child run forth. I love that. So that is just making me think, you know, it reminds me of summer, right? Also, that's a good time for us to run wild a little bit. It's summertime. And, you know, again, remember what it was like to run wild as a child. Just remember maybe what you had fun doing, you know, as a child. So I would say I love this one. And I love that the horse is in there. So I'd say that's good advice, especially in the summer. What does that mean for you? Does it mean like you're gonna run along the beach, like literally run along the beach? I used to love to do that. Does it mean you're gonna go out into the woods and run naked under the moonlight? Does it mean you're gonna go skinny dipping somewhere? Maybe you don't want to get that wild, but maybe you do. I don't know. All right, so that was the final message. And if anything I said resonated with you, I would love it if you would say something in the comment section. If you like these kind of messages, feel free to subscribe and then turn on the notifications so you know when I come on again. I'm trying to come on at least once a week. And yeah, hit the like button if there's anything that you enjoyed. And I love reading your comments. If you want to talk about, you know, the whole idea of trying to love the people that irritate us a lot sometimes, or if any of the messages resonated for you, I would love to hear about it. Once again, thanks for stopping by my channel, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, whatever time of day that is, whatever day that is. Take care. Bye.